So I was just thinking when I was getting ready to take my daughter's Rottweiler for a walk that I noticed every time that she's been caged up for too long, she's wild. Like she doesn't listen. She just runs out like wild, like a wild animal if she's been caged for too long. And it just made me think of when a person is sentenced to prison and they do something and they get put in the hole. When they're caged up for too long, either they're going to be isolated or they're going to be belligerent, they're going to be wild. And then I took it a step further and thought about us. We're in a world that has us encaged. This world is set up for our demise. When you really awaken to what's really going on in this world, you realize that the world is set up for our demise. We're in a big cage, right? But the thing about the dog in the cage is she can come out of the cage, right? And she knows that when I take her, she's familiar with me, she feels comfortable with me, and she calms down. But she has to come out to the cage. She has to come out of that cage to get to that state and to be familiar with me and comfortable with me. And then she's okay. And I think about that with God. Like, how many times have God brought us out the cage? But we keep going back in it. We keep going back to all those dysfunctional habits that we have. We keep going back to bad relationships that serve us no purpose. But God is like, I'm trying to take you out the cage. Like, you've been familiar with me. You know that I'm your comforter. You know that I'm here to protect you. You've been with me before. But for some reason, we become institutionalized in our mind, and we think that the cage is better for us. Let that marinate for a minute. Like, think about yourself. Like, what is it that you feel like you're still encaged in? What is it that you feel like, why do I keep doing this? It's serving me no purpose. Like, why do I keep doing this? When God has showed me that He's the best way. But I keep going back to the engagement of this bad relationship, this toxic activities that I do that leave me feeling horrible afterwards. But God says there's freedom outside of here. And not only that, when I was reading John 6 today, it even confirms, because it's like Philip was with Jesus and Jesus was just testing Philip. He was like, where can we buy some bread to feed all these people? And Philip, now, Jesus has all these people following him because they know he's powerful. They know he has performed miracles and they want to be around this man because they like, he's powerful. Philip knows that. He's been with Jesus. But he doubted him. And he was like, if we worked a whole month, we would not have enough to feed all these people. And then Peter, who is Jesus' right-hand man, he even doubted. He was like, you know what? There's a boy that has 5 loaves of bread, 2 fish, but even that, we would not be able to feed these 5,000 people. So they had been with Jesus and they still doubted him, just like we do. When are we going to get free? Ask yourself that. When am I going to come out of this cage and get free for what is accessible to me? Jesus is accessible to you, my friend. Choose Him.